Good evening. Good evening. It is 81 degrees Central Connecticut under partly cloudy skies. Enjoying some half and half in a mortar. Rick Black mortar, actually. And got a little story about that. I put in an order last Friday night for Big and Burly and Haunted Bookshop. And when I pushed the submit button, I realized I had forgotten to get pipe cleaners. So I went out yesterday morning, local discount agricultural products shop. They don't have much in the way of pipe stuff, but they do have pipe cleaners. So I picked up 4 packs of pipe cleaners, and I realized driving there that I had no Haunted Bookshop with me and no lighter. So I ended up getting the pouch of half and half for the ride home and a Bic lighter. That was my day yesterday. $25 in the house. I saw Doug Owen in the audience there, Cliff Higgins, Luke Reisner, the Cincinnati Piper, Stephen Darcy McGee, Smoking Haunted Bookshop, Bona Piper, good evening, sir. Briar Blues, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Pipes and Kayaks. Brad, how's it going? Anybody want to tell me if their picture is jumping back and forth, or is it just mine? Dylan Reed, good evening. I'm doing well, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Joe White in the house. E. River Tree. I saw Pungo Breyer was, yep, there he is. Riverboat Gambler. Thanks, Pungo. My monitor is, the picture is bouncing around like crazy. It's driving me nuts, but I'll try to disregard. Special night tonight. Mrs. Matches took a vacation to Massachusetts. She hadn't been back up for a couple of years, actually. I think it's been a couple of years. And her relatives from Virginia picked her up, drove her up. I'm a little nervous about having her away for the whole weekend, but hopefully she'll do well. My daughter and I will enjoy some quiet time because they won't be fighting with each other. Yes, Ralph. I wanted to get a haircut like 2 weeks ago. Decided I'd wait a week and called to get an appointment, and my hair lady's on vacation. So I figured, well, I'll let it go another week. Then I thought, geez, this might be the beginning of her vacation. She could be off for 2 weeks. And I decided rather than fooling around with that, I would get it cut at work. So did that Wednesday. Saved myself a lot of aggravation. Everett Young, hello. ZBZ, glad to have you aboard. Richard Booney, great to see you. Daniel Leslie, always glad to have you in the house. We are enjoying Half and Half in a 4,000-year-old mortar. That always blows my mind. 4,000 years. When that tree fell 4,000 years ago, it was during one of the dynasties in Egypt. I don't know who was the big wheel back then. Somebody might know. Be analog. You never had Half and Half. A very popular over-the-counter blend from days gone by. Burley in Virginia with a topping, the flavors that are added to this escape memory. Doug Owen will know. But yeah, mildly aromatic. Timothy Davis, great to see you. Jeffrey Feinberg, always nice going back and forth with you, watching my videos and leaving comments. Iron Brigade Piper, Morta, M-O-R-T-A, is basically a oak tree that fell into a peat bog and it got pickled for many thousands of years. And the wood ends up being almost as tough as steel. And they make terrific tobacco pipes. Characteristics are very similar to corn cobs. Very cool. Get an airy kind of a smoke out of it. The only slight downside is when you first get it and you're breaking it in, it tastes like a 4,000-year-old piece of wood for a while. But this one here has got hundreds of smokes in it, and it's perfect. Juan Carlos. Phil Rivera. Great to see you. Hope all is well out in California. Dylan Morin. After Burley, Englishes are my favorite. And I'll be lighting up some Big and Burley in a little bit, which in my mind is an English. Some may differ, but yeah, English is my second favorite after Burley. I'll usually smoke them at night, and yeah, I like them all, pretty much. Glad to hear you're cooling off, Phil. It's still too hot for me at 81 degrees. I just don't like it. Cliff Higgins. 31-day-old haunted pirate ship. That stuff is so great. 50% haunted bookshop and 50% pirate cake. You can't beat it. Midnight Piper. Yeah, you can tell somebody different cut it, but she did a good job. Ernesto Gomez, good evening to you, sir. 73 in the house. And so this was my first long weekend. In case you missed it last week, I decided this year I was going to take my vacation time and pick every Thursday as a vacation day. So I'll be working 4-day weeks, in some cases less because there are some holidays in there, for the rest of the year. And I've mentioned before that August was kind of going to be the start of really firming up the plans for retirement. And where this was the first week, I kind of sat down to figure out exactly where I'm at. And I'm ahead of everything, and I jumped the gun on a couple of things, but pretty much what I did yesterday and today was crunching some numbers. Actually figuring out what the finances will be stopping working and going on Social Security. And I knew I was going to end up short, of course, because you always do, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. And if I want to be where I'm at now when I retire, I got to pick up a 20-hour-a-week job, even bagging groceries or something like that, to keep my head above water. So that's not bad, not bad at all. And I'll refine all of that because that's not taking into account any other sources of income, which I still haven't figured out yet what I'm going to do with my 401k, if I'm going to start to draw that or use it for emergency purposes. We're going to have to see what happens. Phil, there's an idea. Get a job as a security guard. Chasing, yeah, I don't know how much I could chase people down. Getting a little too old for that. O'Leary XYZ, how are you? Yep, it'll all work out. I'm not worried about it at all. 762 times 51. Great to see you. Always happy to have you aboard. Pipe Writer, how are you doing? Yes, my back to school haircut. And where are you this weekend? New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Florida? David Farley, I was going to, or I had an idea to maybe do a bunch of videos on the whole retirement thing. And I might still do some of it. But yeah, you know, it's a change in lifestyle, and there's going to be a lot that goes with it, uh, psychologically and financially, and just like any other day, I know I'm going to have ups, I'm going to have downs. So I certainly could do some videos on going through that change. But it's all pretty exciting, I think, because after 31 years, I've pretty much had enough of where I'm at now. Pipe writers in Vermont. My goodness. Comments are flying by. Bill Buchanan, every day is Saturday. Yeah, Ralph, I will get bored. So what do we got here? Brad's wife is cooking. Almost burned down the house. Oh, Brad. Daniel Leslie, I've been to Canada once, twice. It's beautiful up there. But my traveling days, I think, are over. Unless I win the lottery. Oh, Phil, I can't stand doing windows. I don't want to start my own business. I'd rather just go somewhere for a couple hours a day and have somebody tell me what they want done, do it, and then go home. Hey, Professor Walker, I'd love to be a teacher. I don't know what I'd teach, though. One of the things I'm going to do, I think, I've kind of already started, is I'll take some courses online, and I'm sure I've mentioned it in videos, but my poorest subject in school was mathematics. And the only time I did good in it was when they were touching on geometry. I think I was in high school, junior high school or high school. And I loved that, but it was only like an introductory thing for a couple of classes. So I'd like to learn that. Algebra, which I knew a little of, but not enough. And then maybe I'll become a math whiz in my senior years. Yeah, history teacher sounds great, but and as much as I love history, I don't even know enough about that. So I'm sure I'll be learning some of that as well. I don't know that I'd like retail, Daniel, so that's kind of out of the question. Not being good at math means that you're bad with money. Can you imagine trying to talk about Morta all day? That would be interesting. I'm getting a gurgle in my Morta. Hey, Mark, you might not be too far off the mark there. No pun intended. A French fry cook at McDonald's. Pungo Briar, you really need a Cane Rod Piper, good evening. Great to see you. Where was I? Oh yes, Pungo Briar, you need a Morta. And olive wood pipes, olive wood piper. Carl works in Morta. I believe Phil Rivera may not do, or he may do Morta. I'm not sure. Phil has worked in Morta. Yeah, as I say, it's similar to a corn cob, but the thing that really blows my mind, just holding this and realizing how old it is, your mind starts thinking about, because you never handle anything really that's 4,000 years old as a rule. It's like having something really special in your hand. Since we have Mike Cane Rod Piper in the audience, you got to check out his Friday night drives and his little discussions he has while he's driving home. Always has a very interesting subject. Daniel, I have made pipes. There's no way I could do it for a living, though. You have to remember, I still have a touch of ADHD, which means that quite often I start something and don't finish it. I get bored with repetition, which is why the job I have now works out really well for me, because I'm never doing the same thing all day long, or over the course of the week. I do many, many different kinds of tasks, which could be plumbing, electrical, carpentry, mechanical repair, always something different. Over a pipe. Good evening. Hope you are well. Pungo Briar, I don't want to be a cop. End up like Sergeant Savinelli. All right, we've done the half and half. we will go to the Friday Savinelli with some Big and Burley. Over a pipe. Please keep the heat down in Georgia. Hey, Phil, thanks an awful lot for dropping in. I'll catch you tomorrow morning with the cartoons on Facebook. Everett Young, everyone should have a 673 also. And people always ask me, what's so great about the 673? It's just perfect. Can I do that right? It's perfect the way it fits in your hand. And as I've said before, it almost becomes an extension of your body. For me, anyway. And if you really want a great 673 experience, get a unfinished 673. You can find one at the Pipe Nook, Eddie Gray. What's my favorite English? That's a good question. And if I had time to sit down and look at a bunch of English tobaccos, I could tell you, but I know the last one I had that really left a great impression on me was Squadron Leader. That was beautiful. Did a review on it not too long ago, maybe a year or two ago. Groove and Piper. There's a few people smoking Sun Bear tonight. Whoops, can't keep up with those comments. 101 in the audience. Was a little disappointed with my Saturday matinee last week. Not only did it not get many initially in the live stream, but the total views as of 6 o'clock tonight was still under 1,000, which is very unusual for me. 762 by 51. Thank you. $3.01 in the tip jar. We love it. The difference between a 673 and a 320 don't go anywhere. That's a 320. And the 673. You can see the difference there. About the same length, but the diameter of the bowl of the 320 is quite a bit larger. Just barely fits into the pipe cabinet. And I tell this story all the time that I kept going back and forth on whether or not to get a 320 or not. I always felt that I wouldn't like it because it was too big and bulky. And finally, somebody sent me one. And when I first had the first few smokes out of it, I said, yeah, this thing, it's like way too big. But it kind of grew on me, and it's not a bad pipe at all. But I still prefer the size of the 673. It's so simple in the hand. It's unbelievable. Mike says he thinks that the 320 looks weird. It does, kind of. When you look at how thick that stem is, it's sort of like a fat, pudgy old man. But like I said, I've come to kind of like it. "31 minutes past the hour of 7. 110 in the house. That's excellent. We will consider this a success." See what else I got for you this evening. Probably not too much. Thinking about article I saw online yesterday for the first time, and now it's news all over the place, that I guess the El Nino shifted in off of California, which means that the formation of hurricanes in the Atlantic is more likely now. So as we finish out August and go into September, which is usually can be a big hurricane month, we may see some activity. Everybody's got to keep their eyes open that are along the coast anyway. Good question, Daniel. I've always had pretty much Fridays off. And somehow on Fridays, I started smoking the 673 right about the time that I started doing videos. So I introduced the pipe as the Friday Savinelli. And the name kind of stuck. So that was 8 years ago. I've lost track. 7 or 8 years ago that started. And now, of course, I have 5, 6, 7 threes. I call all of them the Friday Savinelli, even though some of them I smoke like on Tuesday or Wednesday. Funny how something like that gets started. Ashes of the Phoenix, thanks for coming in. Better late than never. Hey, Ralph, enjoy your pizza. Thanks for dropping in. Michael, how often do I smoke a church warden? I would say on average twice a week. The Pipe Nook. Thank you very much, Eddie. I hope you caught my little plug for your unfinished Savinellis. Thanks for the tip in the tip jar. Greatly appreciated. Hope all is well at the Pipe Nook. Yeah, so I find that the church wardens, I really like them, especially right before I go to bed. Very relaxing smoke. C. Lamar Powell. I kind of touched on that last Friday night about doing videos as opposed to live streams. And I do really miss the creativity that's involved in doing a video outside. And I had every intention of getting out this week while I had these 3 days off. And somehow I just wasn't motivated to do it. I know the whole YouTube thing is kind of bumming me out, but I'm also kind of tired from work. And it's hopefully, as the weather cools a bit, it'll be nicer to get outside. I'll put something together. Yeah, I really enjoy sitting out when it's cool and telling a story or doing a review, whatever. A lot less stressful than doing a live stream. Douglas Pack, thank you very much. Another tip for the tip jar. How many church wardens do I have? And do I have a favorite? I have 6. I have 6, and they're all my favorites. But I do have to say the Clark's favorite and Ginger's favorite are probably the 2 best smokers. And for, I don't know why, but for whatever reason they are. The Ginger's favorite isn't really the greatest looking pipe, but it smokes like a dream. The Clark's favorite is like elegant. And, you know, part of what makes a pipe great is how it makes you feel looking at it while you're smoking it. And that really has some visual appeal to it, as well as being a good smoker. NC pipe smoker. I'm soaking wet, sweating like something. Oh, I think that was a request to do a video on the pipe cabinet, which I have done before. I've rearranged it a little bit since the last one I did. Maybe we'll get around to doing that when it gets real cold out and I have to do something indoors. Good night, Professor Walker. Jeffrey. The I don't know how the tip jar works on the viewer's end. Oh, Doug Owen. My goodness, $10. Thank you very much. For $10, we will say, make sure to check out Cargo Hold out in Paulsbo, Washington. Doug Owen, proprietor. Yeah, I don't know how the tip jar works on the viewer's end, whether you have to set up a credit card or a PayPal or what. But on my end, it just gets included in with like my advertising revenues. So they will break it down as to what's advertising and what's from the tip jar. Yeah, hey, Pipe Nook, you want to match Doug Owen? Oh, that's precious. Mark in Rhode Island, great to see you, buddy. The oldest pipe in my collection, I'm not sure, because I have some K Woodies that are from the 30s. I can't date them exactly, but they're from the 30s. I have some others that I have no idea, but I would take a good guess that it's one of the K Woodies from the 1930s. Clay pipes, yes. Some of those pieces you're finding are probably from the 16 or 1700s, huh? Everett Young, I'm not sure if they still make the Duca Carlos. Somebody here might know that. But like the Romas or the Rossies, they're still a great pipe. I love my Duca Carlos 673. Yeah, that sounds good. A house on the Riviera. Let me see. What tobacco's in the beige can behind you? This is Haunted Bookshop. This, Lane Limited. This, Big and Burly. This, the homemade stuff from Ohio. Now you've seen all my stuff, except what's in my cellar. And if there was an easy way to do a video on what's in my cellar, I would do it. But you don't want to see those two drawers there that have agricultural products in them. Well, since we have the 320 out, I guess we should fire it up with something. Oh, Savage XL 222. Thank you very much. $2.79 in the tip jar. CA. I'm not sure how that reads. but I will keep it lit. Thank you again. What are we going to do here? How about Edgeworth slices? There we are with some Edgeworth. Doug Owen says Duca Carlos no longer available, but you can find them on eBay. Why am I so... Something's not right here. We got to go up a little bit. Oh, I guess I got to loosen this and go up. Sorry, folks, technical difficulty. That's better. Yeah. Laid Back Forever, thank you very much for the tip jar contribution. Will help us in our search for agricultural products. 45 minutes past the hour of 7. Vince Sun, good evening to you. Jimmy Tabaki. Hey, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Start a little game show. What's in my cellar? Joshua Green, I wouldn't worry about it. If it weren't for the pipe, I'd still be smoking cigarettes. If I was still alive. Upon a Starry Night, greetings to you. Here we go with Edgeworth slices. Baxter, that's a big no-no. And on occasion, you might accidentally inhale some of this. It's nothing like a cigarette. And trust me, it doesn't feel good going down the tube. What you're looking for in a pipe is to get the flavor in your mouth, not to inhale it. Daniel, I never had a Dunhill pipe. They are beautiful looking, but I don't think I'd pay for one. I think I can get just as good a smoke out of a Dr. Grabo, depending on where I'm at and what mood I'm in. Ah, yes, pipes and kayaks. It's the Edgeworth. Savage. The Edgeworth slices are something that you really have to experience yourself. If you've ever had any of the Burley Flakes from Cornell and Deal, like Burley Flake 1 or 2, if you add a little taste of molasses to those, it's similar to what the Edgeworth is like. Oh, Baxter. That was 2003, Christmas Eve. I quit cigarettes. And I had already been smoking the pipe kind of regularly since 2000. So that's how that all happened. I had pneumonia at the time, and I really had no choice. um, when you have pneumonia, smoking cigarettes is not an option. Doug Owen says that Dunhill pipes can't hold a candle to Savinelli's, and I have to agree. Oh, the pipe nook. Eddie, that's above and beyond. Thank you very much. My goodness, what a night. You have brought a great smile to my face. B Analog says, OMG. Hello, Melda Sason, if I didn't butcher that. Glad to have you here. Eddie, just for the $14.99, I think we might stay on a little later tonight. Geez, I might stay up till 8 o'clock tonight. Ron, 77A. That's all on a YouTube set of videos about how old I was and oh, Doug Owen now, come on. You guys are killing me. I love it. Thank you very much, Doug. Anyway, the short answer to that is 15 and a half or 16 years old. I think it was 16. Geez, I'm just blown away by you guys. All too funny. But I love it. Pungo Breyer, how'd you like that Riverboat Gambler? I had that some years back. I loved it. And I think it was my maybe fourth or fifth bowl. I must have had an empty stomach or something. And boy, did that lay into me something wicked. But it's an excellent blend. Retro Hailing, Daniel. What you're doing is kind of getting the smoke way, way back, and it comes out your nose. So you're not really inhaling it, but you're able to sense it in your nasal cavity, if that makes any sense. I think it's kind of like when a soft drink bubbles back up through your nose, but it's a much better experience than that. Haunted bookshop in a Fern Down. Now you're talking. Briar Blues. Good Lord. Look at that. That is unbelievable. Thank you very much, Mike. I'm going to fall out of my chair here. Trying to keep up with the comments. Pungo Breyer says, this is getting funny. It really is. Yeah, if I could get a war in the tip jar like this all the time, I could forget about a part-time job. And a smile back to you, Briar Blues. Doug Owens says, Mike wins by balance is shot. I love it. You guys are great. Well, C&D's Sun Bear seems to be the agricultural product of the evening. I've seen it at least 4 times from 4 different people. Somebody want to tell me what the big deal is? By the way, on that note, I've lost track of all the new C&D stuff. They just come out with way more than I can keep track of. And I kind of like the old, the Epiphanies and Shandy Gaff and Big Burley and all the good stuff. I'm not interested in anything new. Michael, a Tall Ship Festival. I got to see the big one in 1976 in Boston. They had like a tall ship parade out in the Boston Harbor. What a sight. Had an aircraft carrier out there, way out. I had never seen one before in person. Those suckers are huge. Green flake. Yeah, Mike, I don't even keep track anymore. Like I said, I like what I like, and there's enough of a variety that I'm really happy with it. I wanted to get Shandy Gaff this last time around, but at the last minute, I thought that I'd like Big and Burley better, because when you've been smoking Haunted Bookshop all day long, to go to something like Pegasus, which I love, or Shandy Gaff, it's just a little bit too close in the flavor profile, where the Big and Burley is kind of, off the charts a bit. I really like the change. Daniel, I smoke cigars on occasion. The other thing about, I guess another reason that I don't keep track of the C&Ds is that most of them seem to be coming out in tins. And while I like to sample something in a tin, when it comes down to purchasing, I'd rather get something in bulk. something that'll last me for a while. I have not tried Peas, GLP's Quiet Nights. Yeah, Gus, C&D's the way to go with Burley blends. Hey, Kevin, how you doing, buddy? Always glad to see you. Hope you're keeping my hometown safe or alive or something. Never tried bed and breakfast. Billy Budd, another great one. Yes, Pungo Briar. You and I speak the same language. We like the same stuff. Hey, Mike, thank you very much for coming in. Always enjoy watching you and bumping into you on these live streams. Hope you have a great weekend. I'll look forward to a Sunday video if you put it up. I'm usually at work, but I catch them Sunday afternoons. And I think at this point, after being on for an hour plus a couple minutes, I'll call it an evening. Really want to thank you guys. Eddie Gray at the Pipe Nook. Mike, thank you very much. Briar Blues. And our third, Doug Owen at Cargo Hold. Thank you very much. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will catch you next Friday night.